it's Joe, and today we're watching Only Murders in the Building, Season 3, Episode 6, Ghostlight. I love this show. I cannot wait to see where this episode leaves us, which suspect we're going to have by the end of it. A reminder that you can find the unedited version of this reaction on my Patreon, and a quick note that the next 2 episodes may not be up on Tuesday. Hopefully they will be, but my best friend is staying from Canada for 2 weeks. She arrives tomorrow, which is so exciting, but of course it does mean that we're gonna have quite a chill, relaxed time. She knows that I got ahead with most of my reacting schedule, so I am going to be reacting to this at some point while she's here, but it may not be as prompt as normal. And let's go.
Theaters are known for their ghosts.
The
Take the Gooseberry.
Phantom of the Opera is here.
Gideon Gooseberry was a rising star on the Great White Way. A 100-pound sandbag came loose from the rafters and brained him in the middle of his second act monologue. If you don't sweep Gideon's energy off the stage every night, he'll find a way to curse your show.
I mean, if this was even a shadow of truth,
the death of Ben Glenroy.
why would you ever stage a play here?
It can be hard to escape your personal ghosts, too.
Yep.
Your obsessions. Your failures.
Okay, so she
Just
did
when I
write
think
fucking
you've broken
big.
free from you.
But like, doesn't mean she killed him, it just means she hated him.
Joy of each other.
But what do you do when your future starts
Go
haunting
and
you?
talk to Joy if you're
The
not
choice is-
happy.
I have something I need to confess. I killed Ben Glenroy.
Did he bake him cookies? Did he do something like, did he bake him cookies and put something in the cookies that he thought would make him ill so that his boyfriend would have to go on for opening night? But then the cookies and the poisoning, whatever, weren't what killed him, it was the shove?
Legend has it.
Oh, he didn't sweep. Oh, okay.
You're safe.
Now you're saying a ghost killed Ben Glenroy.
Because he didn't
Charles,
sweep.
It's perfectly simple. I was protecting our show, and it was locked. Strange noises coming from within. I should have found her. I should have gotten the key.
Strange
I never
noises.
contacted KT because
Told anyone about this before?
I guess I convinced myself it was all in my head.
I mean, it is, sweetheart.
Hello?
Literally, good job.
Someone
If you
there?
truly believe in ghosts, why would you ever enter this theatre?
I know.
Howard, I hate to break it to you, but ghosts aren't real.
Yeah, I think
Of
someone
course they
played a
are.
prank on you.
Oh, man in towel.
Yes.
So, sorry, we're having a conversation.
Mabel, did you hear what he said about the cap and the red coat? I mean, it kind of sounds like...
Ben's doctor. I had the same
Look,
thought.
I know when you brought someone in, she turned out to be the murderer, but you did also bring someone into an investigation in season 1. You have to be okay with it. Second of all, I do feel like at some point we're going to suspect Tobit.
Good.
Oh, sorry. Hi, we're still here.
Yeah, the original 3 who came into the dining
I
room
remember that. Yeah. Left you? When?
yesterday.
Are you okay, Charles?
Oh, I'm fine. I'm fine. This
It's
is not my
not
first
fine.
rodeo. This old clown's been fucking pig.
Well, someone did. Is it possible this ghost thing is Howard trying to cover
You
for
need to
Jonathan?
share what you know about
genuinely
Loretta.
strong. And we
I think it's just surprising. You haven't exactly been driving this investigation. In fact, you've been anti-investigation.
well, why don't I make it up to you with a little soul mish?
He wants to try and prove it wasn't.
No way I... All right, fine. This will be fun. The 3 of us together. I miss this.
Hey, Jack, Janet, and Chrissy, can we speed this up, please? It's a Three's Company. Why the fuck am I yelling? Oh, I know, because there is a murderous ghost on the loose.
Someone give this man a cat to cuddle. He brought the fish. It will be alright by itself.
Start.
Never ever goes out.
Non-believer says what?
That was kind of strange.
It was very interesting timing.
She must be here.
He could be traumatized.
That's exactly
Someone is here messing with them.
Is?
Someone is here and messing with them. Like, turned off the ghost light at the exact moment that would be the spookiest.
Handwriting samples from the whole cast. We can use this to compare to the fucking pig on Ben's mirror.
Oh, I don't know. I don't think that would be very helpful.
You
It's
need to
exactly
tell
the
them
kind
what
of
you
thing that
know.
would do. I basically pulled it from the
Oliver.
Leaky.
Still don't understand why you brought him.
Because he's not
Oh,
fine with Joy
well,
leaving him.
This is a little. How can we trust you with confidential case information when we know you might share it with a stranger at any moment?
How could you trust me?
Mm-hmm.
And
Charles,
he's not a stranger.
do not attack
Just
her
have
like
to be
this.
careful who we get in.
Better track record with that than you. Tolbert has done more for
President McKinley is definitely leaking. I need to find something to put him in. I think there's a props closet down the hall.
Like his
Yeah, you go
fish
and
tank.
do that. Oliver can do whatever the hell he's doing. I'll keep investigating alone as usual.
He's double checking for himself.
I really don't see it. Guys, there's something here I think you should see.
Okay, he is planning to tell them. That's good. He just wanted to
Hello?
I'll let him off, wanting to double check before he accused her. Guys, remember the first rule of the horror movie is not to split up. And I don't think we're in a horror movie with a ghost. I think we're in a horror movie with a human murderer. What is this space?
God, this.
Well, that was very unpleasant.
You belong in a tank.
No.
Water is water, right?
Oh lord, this is going so great.
Hello? And they'll come back to get me.
You abandoned Mabel. Oliver's been abducted by the Phantom of the Opera.
Jerry Blau?
Oliver. Oh, thank God, a fellow director.
You shouldn't sneak up on people like that, Jerry.
Does he live here?
You're giving me a heart attack.
I'm sorry, Ollie. I thought.
Right.
Have you been messing with us today?
3 months living in Marine State.
Have a seat.
Did you hate Ben Gilroy or did you see
Can I
anything?
interest you in?
He's come.
Tolbert?
What? All right, come on, let's go.
I think we also at some point need to be suspicious of Tolbert, but also hopefully not because another love interest shouldn't do it. Same with Loretta, but you have reason to be suspicious of Loretta right
You don't
now.
like me, do you? What's your hour? Sweeping does nothing. It doesn't? Mm-mm.
So that means not sweeping didn't do anything either.
But after the show, my mother told me my stage voice was matronly and shrill. She said she never wanted to hear me use that voice again in public.
Oh,
So I quit. Before I even began.
that is very sad.
Don't sweep Gideon away. You have to include him. Come on.
I mean, that makes more sense because Gideon was just an actor who seemingly owned the theatre or something, and then
Nice to know.
So, you're the ghost.
Your manservant spotted me this morning. I heard.
Shot, I know, but is there also any
It's a
chance
rat.
that you killed Ben Glenroy?
You okay, Ollie?
he's very much not okay.
Now you're worried because of her violent temper.
What? What violent temper?
He
No, what
is the
happened
ghost in the
backstage on
walls.
opening night.
And he goes.
Oh, he flushed.
Mix of beta blockers, Propecia, HGH, and just a dash of methamphetamine.
No.
All the same things Ben was taking.
So you didn't want to be the lead.
An entire show on your shoulders.
I'm glad this man is innocent.
President McKinley! Is that an intercom? Hello? This is Charles. I'm in the. Can you hear me? I'm in the prop room. It's G.
Oh my god. Why would it have been an intercom?
Fucking ding dong.
That doesn't sound like her.
I'm up in the rafters. I'm only getting every third word.
She does have a book dedicated to him that we need to look into.
Pig. Anyway,
Uh-huh.
now the.
Charles punched Ben?
Yes.
You didn't know any of this?
People he trusts aren't telling him everything.
Unfinished work. Don't forget to direct me. Oh, okay.
Oh, she's getting to direct and he's getting to act.
Why didn't you use your Jimmy keys? Jimmy keys?
This man. Admittedly, he is going through a lot right now. His brain's a bit befuddled.
Choose what matters to you, and then do whatever you have to do to get it. Or you'll end up like me, neither behind the scene nor on stage,
But
more dead than alive.
I suppose, like, you still have to tell them what you know
Thanks,
about
Joey.
Loretta.
I know what I have to do.
Cocktail had a dash of meth. Why didn't that show up in his autopsy?
Oh, my God.
You were gone for 20 minutes.
Parched and I'm weak.
Oliver, stop! What are you doing?
I'm making a choice.
That's evidence.
This isn't.
You're crossing a line.
Oh, I'm crossing a line.
But the real question is, why is your production so out of control that your actors are beating each other up on opening night?
Oh, this is my fault, is it? Well, so sorry for trying to breathe life into your
They're
dead
falling
career
apart.
by
It's
putting you
not
on
going to
Raw.
help the
My
investigation.
career was not dead because I quit.
Fine.
Falling apart is not the answer.
Why didn't you tell me what happened with Ben on opening night?
Because he's my buddy. Was.
Oh.
Wait,
Oh.
Loretta's a part of this too? What else is she keeping from us?
I don't know, and frankly, I don't care.
Okay, the book of Ben obsession, when she clearly didn't get on with him.
Oliver,
What was that?
What the fuck are you doing?
You arrested someone for Ben's murder, remember?
Yeah,
And yet
someone
you
that we
keep
all
trying to
know
throw
is
suspicion
innocent.
onto my cast. You know, I know you've never had a grown-up job before, but guess what? They matter.
Wow.
Oliver.
In a few weeks, and I finally get what I've been working for my whole life. I won't let you jeopardize that.
Sendo was right. Partner with her, and I said that I was already part of a team.
That
She
team.
said that I don't need you guys, and I'm starting to see that she's right.
I mean, you don't go to Cinder.
All I do is put up with your self-involved insanity, and I'm gonna figure out who did it, whether the two of you give a shit or not. I'm done.
You went too far. And you can't put your musical above, like, a murderer. If Loretta did it, which I don't think she did, because, I mean, maybe she did. I don't know. But, like, I don't think she did. I wouldn't want to be with someone that was capable of pushing someone down a lift and poisoning them. Someone who gets a bit angry at someone that's treated her like shit and writes fucking pig on his mirror. Maybe we talk about, like, an anger therapist. But, like, it's different. He had no right to talk to Mabel the way he did, because at the beginning of this, they all agreed there was a case to look into. He is the reason this podcast exists in the first place, because when he needed it in his life, they came to him and they helped him with the podcast. When he needed the podcast, Oliver was the one that came up with it because he needed money. They were there for him. It's clear to anyone who's taking a second to look that Mabel is struggling a little bit right now. No one is being there for her. Charles was too worried about his fish, and admittedly, yeah, his girlfriend just left him, like, he's going through stuff, but they really have been neglecting Mabel this season, and I'm not a fan of it. And putting your production and your girlfriend who murdered someone, and especially as Oliver, from what we've seen, he's the person that knew Ben the most. He'd maybe seen glimpses of Ben's insecurities and who Ben maybe was below the dick, like, what else there was to him, which doesn't excuse him being a dick to everybody, of course not, but, like, you can't do what you're doing.
Is for someone to see you.
Bravo!
Well, they helped each other then. I don't like this.
That the real haunting begins.
You fucked up. Okay, this was another great episode, as always. I hate how it ended. It is one of the... I hate when a tight-knit group comes apart. That happens in so many shows. It has to happen from time to time, but I hate it. Okay, so I am not particularly impressed with Oliver. I get that he really is starting to fall for Loretta. I get that he doesn't want to think she's capable of it, but the way he is acting, it is like he thinks she did kill Ben, but he's just going to be okay with that. And that is so messed up on so many levels. Like, I get that he's getting on a bit. I get that maybe this is his last chance at happiness or whatever. That's what he's saying to himself. But why would you want that with a murderer? Should you be telling Charles, well, you know, you did hit it off with Jan, so go be her prison boyfriend? Like, of course not, because she's a murderer. Now, there is a... If it was just the shove, there could have been an altercation and a shove and the fall was an accident because the lift wasn't working. That could be a thing. But the poisoning as well, like, from what we know right now, the two things are still connected. I wouldn't want to be with Loretta. And I wouldn't want to put the musical over he's picking Loretta over people that have been with him for a lot longer, and he's picking Loretta over justice and solving a murder. Now I don't think Loretta did it. I don't really have a solid reason for that, other than the fact that I think it probably won't be a love interest again, but we've kind of reached the point where there aren't many other suspects. So, I don't know, maybe it will be a love interest again and our poor gang just have a really terrible taste. I still feel at some point we're going to be suspicious of Tobbit. So I feel like his motive would be maybe that Ben had said, "Oh, I'm not going to pay you," or Ben had been like, "Oh, actually, I don't know, I'm going to not have you around anymore." Or the motive could also be that he thought it would be more interesting, more groundbreaking if he was solving the murder of the dude he'd been following rather than just any old documentary. And so maybe he was happy initially to just do a documentary on the stalker dude, but instead he's going along with Mabel to try and lead her away from the truth. I could see that being the case, but I also just hope it isn't a love interest, whether they end up with a love interest or not, just because we already had that. And they don't deserve that. Mabel especially doesn't deserve that. She has been the only one trying to do this case, and if they didn't want to do the investigation, they should have told her at the beginning. But they agreed to do it. They agreed that, yeah, they'd be busy with the musical and whatnot, but that they agreed to do it. They also agreed that the guy that is currently, in prison for the crime is clearly innocent. I hated the way they spoke to each other in that episode, in particular, like when Mabel accused them of being too busy with their other things. Maybe she could have phrased it in a nicer way, but she wasn't lying. And, yeah, Mabel's never had a real grown-up job, but, like, that is such a cruel and unfair thing to say to her because she has been through so much, had so much trauma that she's been trying to get over in her life. Some people, it is harder to, you have so many more things holding you back that make it harder to get your life on track. Second of all, in 2023, whatever year this is set, podcasts are a job. Like, if you have a successful one, you can make a living off of it. If you have to get lucky, but you could do it. So it was very condescending, patronizing, and also aiming to hurt her rather than just trying to tell the truth. I think this is potentially what comes of not having the conversations when they are smaller, but Oliver was only acting the way he was acting because his girlfriend is the one that they're accusing, because there's evidence. Charles quitting the play. We know he kind of didn't really want to do it because he was scared. Like, they all just need to talk to each other, and it's just a mess. But Oliver really was the one in the wrong here. He was the one that initiated the cruelty to both of them in a lot of ways. He was the one who in season 1 was desperate for them to do the podcast. He was being evicted. He needed money. Podcasts could make money. He was clawing onto anything he could do to try and revive his career and keep going. And instead, now, when they maybe need him, or when Mabel especially needs him, he is turning on them for himself. So Oliver has obviously always had a selfish streak, but I feel like in this season it's really shining. And I don't think his little Phantom of the Opera guy helped with that regard. But, like, is he seriously going to go back to Loretta for their next date and be like, I have decided you did kill Ben and I don't want to look into it. Shall we kiss? Like, I don't think so. Also, he needs to get behind what the book of him was. Like, if anything, he should have said to her, Loretta, what's this? Were you a fan of his? I'm so sorry if you were, that he was such a dick. Like, sound her out, see what's happening. So I'm glad Mabel has Tobbit right now. I'm just scared he's secretly going to turn out to be the murderer. I'm also very glad Jonathan was exonerated, because Howard and Jonathan deserve to be happy. Also, Howard saying that he wanted to act and then his mum was horrible to him is just really heartbreaking, because a lot of people have dreams of being an actor and they come to nothing, because it is such an industry of you get lucky, you get to be one of the people that can make a living from it. But he deserved to pursue that, whether it was doing local amateur acting. Like, he could have done any level of acting. And the idea that his mother did that to him is just heartbreaking. I'm glad he had his little moment, and then the woman that wants to be a director, they kind of helped each other, and they've been so at odds with each other. I don't believe in ghosts, but that was lovely. As of the investigation, Loretta is the biggest suspect right now, but I also don't think it was her. because she's the biggest suspect, and that makes zero sense. I have a feeling, like I said, at some point Tobit's gonna come into the spotlight. Well, how his brother? We haven't investigated his brother either way. Potentially the stage manager, but I don't know. I feel like his brother could have wanted him to be free of him. Like, he's quite quickly picked up Loretta as a new client. Like, maybe he wanted to be free. So that is who I've decided it was his brother. With zero real evidence, just conspiracy theories. I'm not impressed with our gang right now, with Oliver in particular. I think both Mabel and Charles kind of were only really reacting to things that have been done to them. Charles also needs to go and speak to Joy, like give her a little bit of time, but go and talk to her, maybe talk about why he thought the things he did, his insecurities with Jan, and then the proposal that he is such an insecure person in so many ways, especially when it comes to relationships, and it never would have occurred to him that she would even want to marry him, and then he had the white room thing, and he thinks that it brought out what he truly wanted. Whatever it is, he needs to go and talk to her at some point. It's also okay if he doesn't, but I feel like it's worth going and trying to have a conversation when emotions aren't quite as high. Not impressed with Oliver in this episode. Also, he suddenly was like, my heart. Yes, Oliver, you should be looking into that and looking after yourself. This episode, not impressed. Oliver, not happy with where it left off. Stressed in general. A reminder that you can find the unedited version of this reaction on my Patreon, and thank you so much for watching.